how much do you think control plays into that? Because I imagine tracking something every day that you don't feel like you have control over is probably really hard. The reason I say that is because when I wake up in the morning, I'm super excited to weigh myself. Every day. Every single day, I'm super excited to weigh myself. Because I believe that I know what to do in order to get to the weight I want on the data. If I didn't, I wouldn't want to weigh myself.
You have to learn how to become the type of man or woman who can attract that, who can achieve that. You now know how to work your way and earn your way to have a multi-million-dollar home. You know how to do that. You are on track toward that. But if you step off the gas and you don't want to work on yourself anymore, well, there goes that dream.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. I was adjusting my microphone. I'm in a very strange mood today. I'll just throw that out there right now. Today, for episode number 1985, it's Freestyle Friday. This was my thought, and you're going to love this. So we have instituted something new at NLU that I hate, but I'm learning to love. And what we're doing is we are tracking our time. Not like punch in at 7 o'clock, punch out at 5 o'clock. I've been doing this as I've gone, right? So right now, as of today, at this moment of recording, I've worked 335 minutes today, and I have it broken down. Took 5 minutes to set up my timesheet, 30-minute WhatsApp batch in the morning, and 60-minute coaching call, blah, blah, blah.
I saw you in there earlier.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I copied it from yours.
I saw.
And then I was like, what if I do something wrong here and delete all of Alan's data? I don't know if that is redeemable. That would be an issue. I made sure I didn't, though, so we're all good.
Well, we do backups every week, so it wouldn't be the worst.
Well, I wanted to make sure I didn't do it. The point of this is, number one, I didn't think I was going to like it. And it's pretty cool. The other thing that I think is probably the benefit of this is when you're tracking something, you want to do good. So there's a piece of me that's like, I want to scroll social media, but I can't put that on my timesheet.
Nice.
So there is now how much will this stick? I mean, obviously right now I'm in the honeymoon phase with this. I've literally done it for 7 hours. How much will it stick? I think it will stick in a very positive way. But I have gotten more done today because of this than I would have without it. I won't say than I have all week because I don't think that's true. It's been a very good week. I don't know what that means for you, whether you're watching or listening. I don't know. Maybe you have suggestions. I don't know if you should do this. I think it would probably be pretty beneficial. Again, is it one of those things that might feel constricting? Maybe. If anything, it's helped me stay super focused. So I thought it would be a cool, interesting thing to talk about because this would definitely, if you are a dream chaser who has some sort of idea for a potential business, or maybe you're already doing something in that realm, this would help you stay super focused, which most likely is going to make you way more successful. So the floor is yours, sir.
I love it, man. You were right. The only resources any of us have, I think, is time, effort, and money. And where you put those dictates the results that you get. And time is the most important because it's the one that you can never get any more of. Although you could argue that because longevity, well, if you take really good care of yourself, then you can extend your life so you can get more of it. So whatever. But ultimately, depending on what you believe about time and fate and all that, the point is where you're investing your time. So time management, that's kind of the old term. But where you invest your time, and so there's 4 columns in this little timesheet. We keep things as simple as possible at NLU. The first column is the date. Today is the 20th of February, 2025.
As of the recording of this episode, yes.
Yes. The second column is time invested. The third column is what you accomplished. And the fourth column is the department. So everyone on the NLU team has to look at, okay, what's today? Okay, what amount of minutes did I invest? What did I accomplish with those minutes? And then how can I tie those to a specific department? And the reason we're doing this is because of systems thinking, which is At the end of every month, I'll be able to do a chat GPT analysis of where all of our time, effort, and money is going as CFO and CEO, and really dial in what matters and what doesn't. So the Pareto principle is 20% of effort creates 80% of results. So there's a thing where you can do 20% of 20% of 20% of 20% of 20% that I've talked about before, the 0.04% essentials. In other words, this podcast, what is the most essential aspect of podcasting? Okay, well, the titles matter a lot. The thumbnails matter a lot. The topic that we pick matters a lot. Whether or not Kevin gets to talk matters a lot.
Maybe more than anything.
Maybe more than anything. But ultimately, this will help anyone out there watching or listening. If you do this even for a week, it will give you such a fascinating understanding of where your time is going, because all of us have used the excuse of I don't have the time. One thing that's been really big for me to realize, I was last night after I clocked out, I was at 24 hours for the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So 24 hours of work in the 3 days. And so if you break that down and you go to the week, that means that if you double that, a 6-day work week, you're looking at 48 hours. But I also work on Sunday, so most likely I'm looking at like a 55-hour week. Okay, cool. Now I know. Okay, where are those hours going, and is my time being used optimally? We're all born, and we all have goals and dreams. Anyone listening to this show certainly does. Otherwise, you'd have turned us off a long time ago. And where you put your time is going to dictate whether or not you achieve those things.
Every time you say you're born naked, scared, and afraid, I always want to say, like, I had a tuxedo on.
Naked, scared, and ignorant.
Naked, scared, ignorant, and afraid, and with a tuxedo on. That was my experience. Very small tuxedo. Infant-sized. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't want to do it.
Did you come out jacked?
Look, you also heard the same thing, so I'm pretty sure every doctor maybe says this, but the doctor that I went to, his name was Dr. Faber, said I had the best muscle tone of any infant he ever tested. But you also said that, I think. So
yeah.
Did they say that about you?
Yeah.
They were lying about you. They were serious about me.
I guess they asked, is your husband big, like a big guy? She said, no, not really. Yeah.
I think they were lying to you specifically.
But not you.
Nope.
Exactly.
I was the case where they say it to everybody, but they meant it to me. That helps me sleep at night. But no, I don't think. I was a pudgy-faced little dude back in the day. I think another thing this is an example of is sometimes there is a resistance to growth. There's a lot of growth on the other side of resistance. Okay, if you're out there and you're thinking to yourself, this is fucking terrible, this episode sucks, and this is the worst thing you guys have ever talked about.
Oh, whoa.
First of all, you haven't been listening for that long. If you think this is the worst thing we've ever talked about, go back about 500 or to 1,000 episodes. It gets worse, I promise. But my thing would be, sit with me here. Please sit with me. Let's work through this. Why? What about it is creating the most resistance? Is it the fact that it feels cagey and it feels too concrete? I can definitely respect that, and I can understand. And I'm excited to do it. It's like, this is really what it is. It's like micro PPT. It's like peak performance tracking on a micro minute-to-minute level. Okay, cool. You like checking off the box that said you did your mobility. Imagine doing that 40 times a day.
Yeah.
I have a lot of good vibes. Now, again, today's a really good day, and it's been a very productive day, but I'm willing to bet one of the reasons my mood is in as good of a place as it is because I told Alan, I keep looking at her, I'm sorry if I'm looking away. I told Alan recently, I kind of feel like shit because I'm so used to being on back-to-back meetings.
Yeah.
And lately I've been averaging like 3 calls a day, and honestly, I feel kind of shitty about myself. When I can see this, I did a lot today. And yeah, when it comes to building belief, you state, prove, self-assign. This is literally me self-assigning all the work I did that would have gone potentially unnoticed by myself. I think that's a big W.
That's why we have lists and stuff. When you're about to go away, you write out a list of all the things. Emily and I do this on the whiteboard. What are all the things that need to get done? And we start hammering stuff off that thing. It feels really good.
It feels great.
And I think accomplishment, and there's a book called The Molecule of More that talks about dopamine that you get when you accomplish things. I've noticed too, and I do have a lot of back-to-backs, but I've noticed, oh, wow, so social media is taking me a lot longer than I realized. But I also have felt, okay, I'm getting a lot done. I'm doing a lot. I'm not wasting any time. And so whenever you measure something, it's going to make you one of two. I said this I gave a fitness speech at an event that we hosted. So Kevin and I, the first one, what year was it? The first one we ever co-hosted.
Co-host or host?
Co-hosted.
Oh, I guess we co-hosted.
2018?
No, I was with Taryn. 2019. I was with Taryn. I think it was the middle of 2019.
No. Confident Women's?
I think I was with Taryn.
But we did 2019 was Your World Within Live.
Yeah, wasn't that the end of the year?
Oh, so we did 2 in 1 year?
I think we might have.
Oh, that makes sense.
I think. I'm not certain.
That would make sense because I think back then I thought that was a good idea.
Well, you wanted to do them quarterly. You want to do them every 3 months. Like, yeah, no, okay.
That was back before COVID when everything went virtual. We thought in person was going to be a thing.
I can check, but yeah, I think it was 2019.
So for the sake of this, let's call it late 2018, early 2019. So that's one, and then you're looking at another one in 2019, 2019 to 2020.
Oh, here you go. Confident Women Consortium, Thursday, July 25th, 2019.
No kidding. Okay, so 2 in 2019. Then you had 1 in 2020.
1 in 2020.
1 in 2021.
2021.
1 in 2022, 2023, and 2024. So that's 7. So we've co-hosted / hosted 7 live events. Our next one is coming up April 5th, by the way. It's fully virtual. The link will be in the show notes. However, what was my point of that? Oh, I was giving a speech on fitness at the Confident Women's Consortium that we co-hosted. And one of my clients, actually, I met at that. That's wild. Shout out to you, Mo. We met you there.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that wild? Yeah, it's crazy. So that said, in my fitness speech, I essentially said, I've completely lost it. Time, effort, money.
You're talking about Wilfredo?
Pareto. No. What did I say in my fitness speech? Oh, yeah. Okay, when you track your weight, you're going to feel one of 2 ways. This was actually at Top Notch Live. This wasn't at Confident Women's. At Top Notch Live, I said this on stage. I said, when you track your weight, you're going to feel one of 2 ways. You're either going to be, 1, pumped that you're making progress, or 2, pissed off that you're not. Either way, if you're pissed off, you're going to get motivated, hopefully. Some people don't get motivated by that. I understand that. So I said this. I said, if you want to make progress in fitness, you have to track your weight, because when you track your weight, you're going to either be frustrated that you're not making progress, which then gives you the ability to tweak something, exercise more, eat less, sleep, whatever it is, or you're going to be like, hell yeah, cool. That's what coaching does too. And so if you're measuring your time, you're either going to be pumped. You're going to look at, anytime you measure anything, this was my ultimate point. Anytime you measure anything, you're going to be pumped because, oh my God, I'm more productive than I thought. Or it's going to feel, oh shit, I'm spending 4 hours on social media a day.
How much do you think control plays into that? Because I imagine tracking something every day that you don't feel like you have control over is probably really hard.
Definitely.
I think that's we should maybe dive down that rabbit hole. The reason I say that is because this is, and I've never thought about this until this moment. When I wake up in the morning, I'm super excited to weigh myself. Every day. Every single day, I'm super excited to weigh myself because I believe that I know what to do in order to get to the weight I want on the date I want. If I didn't, I wouldn't want to weigh myself. Yeah. It's like, it's just rolling the dice. Right? What do the 3 numbers say today? Or 4 numbers, I guess, because it's a point.
Well, we track listens. That's been hard over the years because it's very hard to understand.
Yeah. What's what?
iTunes changed something. Okay, so Apple Podcast. Okay, so that's different now. So yeah, the more in control you are of the measurement, the more excited you'll be to track it, probably. You're very in control of your time, where your time is going. All of us are very in control of that. However, if you don't have self-discipline, it might be hard to look at.
What do you think's the easiest, if we were to say health, well, if we were to say time, money, weight, what's the easiest to control statistically, do you think?
Time.
Let's say so, right?
Yeah, time. And where you invest your time is going to dictate how much money you make long term and how much you weigh.
And it's less connected to
Well, one of them's an
self-worth.
input, the other one's an output.
Fair.
So I'm getting engineering here.
Let's do
So
it.
systems thinking is that box that I talked about a couple episodes ago, which is inputs, outputs. So upper left is inputs, upper right is outputs, bottom right is measure, bottom left is adjust. So the input is time. The output is what listens, weight, finances, how much you made. And this is what I do in coaching all the time. I don't know why I'm looking at the camera.
I've been doing it too. Who knows what's happening?
Hey. So for those of you on YouTube, this is what we're doing. You tell me the goals, the outputs you want, then we measure the right things and do the right habits. And habits are just where you're investing your time.
Yeah.
And Kev,
Yes,
this is important for me to ask you, brother, because as a math thinker, I've always sort of done this in my head, even when I wasn't.
a bit of a mathematician myself over here, so let's see if I can add some value.
You used to wing it, and I always come back to this because now you have a lot of certainty that you're going to achieve your goals. It's a pain in the butt, and sometimes you got to do things that you don't want to do a lot of the time. But 8 years ago, Kev would never have been pumped to track his time.
Strange. Yeah, I've become a strange person for sure.
You have. I
Yeah.
think that, and we can't lose what it was like to not be like this because we need you to.
Well, here's the thing. I think a lot of people have a negative. So back when I was a foreman for a weatherization company, right? So it was our job to go into buildings and make them more energy efficient. And my bosses were very, very, very intelligent, very, very smart humans.
What do you mean by that?
They
I'm
were,
not disagreeing.
They were focused on saving seconds. Like
Yeah.
they were just ahead of their time in that industry when it came to almost everything that they did.
Nice.
In retrospect,
So
I know
more
that.
effective in less time.
Yeah,
Accomplish
at the
more
time,
in less. Yeah.
I was like, fuck you guys. Like, come on. Now let me take my sweet time here. Making bank. Making $80 an hour. Let's
Yeah.
stretch this thing out.
But
Let's
there's a
stretch this job
client
out.
paying for that, or
Don't care. Didn't care at the time. I just wanted to make as much money as I could. Didn't understand. But
Yeah.
I remember when they instituted a system similar to this, where we would get to the end of the day, and it would be how many feet of, it's called roof wall intersection, did you block? And you would literally have to use either a tape measure or a laser measurement to figure out, we did 270 linear feet, and it took us 3 hours. We were doing 90 feet per hour. That is above recommendation. Cool. And it was, at the end of the day, since I was the foreman, I would literally go to the van like 15 minutes before everybody else, and I would do our numbers.
nice.
And it kind of sucked. Because if we were under, we were getting a talking to. If we were over, you don't get anything. Like, congrats. You're making us more money. It's like, okay. Now I understand it's a little bit different, but
yeah.
so I can imagine anybody who's ever punched a clock or been tracked on time might have a negative association. That's all.
100%.
Yeah.
But for anyone out there watching or listening, imagine you're the business owner in this metaphor.
It's different, yeah.
Because your life benefits when you invest your time better. So imagine same thing, but you're the foreman of your own life.
Same, but different. Well, yeah, it can be scary to know where all your time is going, but isn't that what we want anyway? I know it sucks to get that moment where you're like, shit, I spent 4 hours on social media today. Jesus. Oh my God. And then you regret it. But don't you want it? Don't you want that truth at some point? You
don't want to get
need
to the end of your life and realize you wasted all your time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Something has to happen in the interim.
Hello, 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 NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes. We did an episode where you interviewed me about productivity, and I study productivity first thing every morning lately, and I've been studying productivity for a decade, probably more than that. And really what it comes down to is how can I accomplish more with the same resources? So all of us, I'm Alan version 3.6, Next Level U, all of you, Amy version 3.7, she's 37, Kevin version 3.5. This Kevin is more capable in less time than Kevin 10 years ago. By a significant margin. It's not close. So you're worth more.
Am I 35 or am I 36?
35.
How old are you?
36.
36. I'm 35. Cool. Didn't know.
Knows every minute he spent today, but doesn't know his age.
My birthday.
I love it.
Here's the problem. Yeah, I have another 2 months to mess this up. Birthday's in August. We're only in February. That's only September, October, November, December, January, February. At the end of this month, I'll have to get it right, but it's only been like 6 months, 5.5 months. So it takes 6 months before I get it right.
Why?
Just the way, because I've been 34. How old am I? 35. I've been 34 for a whole year, but I thought I was 33 for 6 months of it. It's just the way it works for me.
Is it because of the year you were born?
No, it has nothing to do with that. It's just when you're so used to saying something for a year.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know, it's like, how long have you guys been together? It's like 5 years. Oh, no, it was 5 years last year. 6 years.
Yeah.
Or I'm an idiot. Whatever. Either one. Either one.
What do I want to make land here? Oh. U version 3.5. This is something that's very hard to explain, and I want to make sure that everyone out there watching or listening gets this. If you're out there and you are earning more than you've ever earned before, it's because you've become more valuable with the same resources. So you don't get paid for the hour, you get paid for the value you put into the hour. And I wonder if that...
I know a lot of people have negative associations with that. So there is kind of a push for anti-productivity in some corners of the internet. And I think it's because, I don't know, maybe it's because people feel taken advantage of by employers or bosses or whatever it is. I think that's how I felt back then. I think I felt like, you guys really have to track me by the minute? Like, why do you have to track me by the minute? But that's because I was used to just freestyling it and going willy-nilly, and I feel like if they sat us down and really helped us understand, like, hey guys, so this is a $300,000 job, okay? It should take us X amount of hours. Our projected profit that we might actually make if you guys do a really good job is really only $60,000. So we're not making I feel like if I had that information, I would have operated differently.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means in this episode.
Business owners don't do a very good job of explaining all that.
No,
right?
but in this case, you are the business owner of your own time.
Exactly.
Exactly. We're not talking about you at work. If you have a side gig, if you have a 9 to 5, this is when you're off the clock and you're doing your dream chasing shit.
Well, when I say it's not the time, it's the value you put into the time. Let's unpack that more. I'm more capable in less time than I used to be. So as a coach, for example, I've gotten significantly better at coaching because I think
a really good example of this is when you start at, let's use a fast food restaurant. When you start at a fast food restaurant and the only skills you have at that time at that restaurant are you know how to do the cooking. Then over the next couple of years, not only do you know how to do the cooking, but you know how to do the cooking and the front checkout. You now are capable of adding more value in the same amount of time.
Exactly.
Then you get to the place where you can do all that and you know how to open and close. Okay, cool. That's good. All right, we're going to give you pay increase. Then you get to the place where you can do all that and you can lead the team. Then you know how to onboard new hire and all that stuff. And then you know how to predict how much product you need and how much product you're going to use and how much you can order in bulk. Then eventually you're running the entire restaurant because you know how the whole thing works and you're kind of the chess master.
Yes. And then eventually you're a GM of a district with 5 restaurants. And then eventually you're the regional manager of the East Coast with 5,000 restaurants. And then eventually so that's why it's called a corporate ladder. You climb it. And the climb in your own life, it's the same exact principle. It's the next level you principle. It's the let me become more valuable by getting better, developing skills, awareness, knowledge, inner work, capabilities, understanding, boom, boom, boom. And then now I'm more capable. So this is the other thing too that's so interesting too. Emilia and I are talking about intimate relationships all the time. We have an event actually tonight that we're doing. And I always am thinking to myself, how interesting is it that when we were 19, 18, 17, 20, you remember that picture of you with those Hooters girls?
They were Playboy models, first of all. Get your shit right.
All right, sorry.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Of course. No. I have so many pictures with models. Let me just go through the Rolodex here. Yeah, no, I think I'm on the right one.
But I do think it's really important to understand. This is, again, how I think, but I think it's how it works, which is when you're in that photograph, young Kevin was, oh my God, it would be so cool to be able to date one of these amazing, beautiful women, right?
For sure.
Okay. Well, that version of Kevin can't be with one of those women because he's not valuable enough yet.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think a lot of people have a negative relationship with that. I don't mean anything negative. It's just you were 18 or whatever. You don't know anything. You haven't become valuable enough to be with a woman like that. And not to say that they are necessarily super valuable either. I don't know them, obviously. But I do think that when it comes to intimate relationships, it gets wonky because people will say, well, I want a partner with this, 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 and this, and this.
Yeah.
And then I say, well, do you have all of those character traits?
Yeah.
And if you don't, why would they want to be with you?
I understand it's just a super logical. Here, okay, if that doesn't land, you can't just say you want $1 million unless you have $1 million house unless you have $1 million. It's like, well, yeah, I would like a $5 million home as well. I don't have the $5 million, or I don't have the 20% and the, whatever, $35,000 a month I need to afford the mortgage. It's just when we introduce the fact that it's personal because it's us and the way we look and our skill set, I think that's where it gets. But that is the truth of it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't get a really awesome, handsome, beautiful partner, but the unfortunate truth is you do have to have the attributes and the things that type of person values. I mean, again, I can't imagine I would ever get to the place where I'm dating a 6 foot tall runway model. I just don't think I'm what they're looking for. And again, very happily married to a very beautiful woman. But I'm just saying as an example.
Well, you and Taryn are a great example of this too, because when you first met Taryn, you said, do you think I sort of closed the door on that too quick? And I said, yeah.
Yeah.
And essentially what happened there is Kev didn't feel like he could be with someone like that yet.
I wasn't ready.
And the truth is
I wasn't ready.
Yeah, you weren't ready.
That is the truth.
That's
and
okay.
I think at least I knew it.
Agreed.
That's the only reason we ever reconnected later on is because she said, I just appreciated that you were honest. It's like, I was a bodybuilding bro who I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for anything serious. I was going through my own shit. I wasn't ready.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a therapy call earlier with my therapist. Her name's Carol, and I was thinking to myself, at the very beginning, right before the call, and I had a coaching session right after, so I was kind of priming for all of that. And I was sitting there going, okay, time to work on myself. That's what this is. I'm just going to work on myself. Okay, what am I going through? What don't I understand? And that's what the whole call was. Just work on me. And that's that's the metaphor of you're renovating the basement so that the home is worth more money. It's worth more. Value is a thing. The iPhone is more valuable because it's so incredible. You can't just imagine Kevin's phone 2.0. Kev just makeshifts a phone and sells it for $1,500. Everyone would be like, "This is a piece of garbage compared to the iPhone."
Or maybe they'd be like, "This is exactly what we need." Maybe it's just new and no internet connection, no camera, doesn't even turn on. Maybe that's exactly what we need. Honestly,
it's like you get one of those toy phones and you sell it for the same amount as the iPhone, and when it comes to self-improvement, when it comes to personal development, when it comes to next level version of yourself, it's the exact same concept. It really is. If you want to achieve something externally, you have to learn how to become the type of man or woman or person who can attract that, who can achieve that.
Yeah.
You now know how to eventually work your way and earn your way to have a multi-million-dollar home. You know how to do that. You are on track toward that. But if you step off the gas and you don't want to work on yourself anymore, well, there goes that dream.
Yes.
And you have to become the type of man who is responsible enough to earn enough money to actually afford that mortgage. And I think that we live in a world, I was on a podcast earlier, last thing, his name's Dan, and he loved that interview because he said, you're very honest about, he said, everyone in the self-improvement space is talking about all this fluffy stuff and how he says, I love how honest you are about how challenging it is. That's it. I'm not trying to be toxic. I don't want to be negative. I just don't like the idea that we should all expect great things for minimal effort. It doesn't make any sense. If that was the truth, if that was accurate, if that was real, everyone would live in a mansion. Yep. But that's impossible. Not everyone can live on the ocean. There's only so much coastline. So what makes the difference? Where you invest your time. Where you invest your time matters more, in my opinion, than anything else other than maybe building self-belief, which, again, is directly connected to where you invest your time.
Time. Who knew? Who knew?
Strong work, brother.
Who knew?
I didn't know you'd ever be the type of man who liked tracking your time.
Same. It's weird. I'm sorry if I've changed. I'm sorry if I've changed, but I've had to. And honestly, I'm not sorry because the changes have been really good and really positive. But
yeah. You got to be the guy, though.
The 25-year-old version of Kev would be beating the shit out of me right now. Be like,
yeah,
dude,
100%.
You have lost it. You're not cool. You used to be super cool. You're not cool anymore at all. You're tracking your time. You don't even smoke weed anymore, man. Shit.
Yeah. If Kevin was friends with old Kevin, what happened to you, man? You've changed. What would you say to young Kevin?
I'm sorry you haven't yet. This is a game changer. Yeah, this is a game changer. This is a game changer. And again, you don't have to start. Maybe you start in a small version of this. It doesn't have to be to this degree, but I literally wanted to do an episode on this on a Freestyle Friday because I've been doing it today, and I feel like it's changed the day, and that's what NLU is all about. Level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth.
I was on with Laura, and I was putting timesheets in everyone's spreadsheets, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, look at Kev, leading by example. He's already in there right now. He's in there changing it right now. Yeah, that was cool to see.
Well, honestly, the other thing was, you think I'm going to write it in a fucking journal? What are we doing here? You think I'm going to physically write it out in a journal? Absolutely not. 0% chance.
Speaking of journals,
yes,
the Next Level Dreamliner.
I can't talk about it because I haven't been doing it consistently, but we do have a journal. It's called the Next Level Dreamliner. It's sustainable enough where you can do it every day. I haven't been because I'm out here jeffing, but it is really something special. We have a redesign coming that will be coming, end of the year?
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna do a redesign for the end of the year.
Dreamliner 3.0.
It's on its way.
This is the 2.0. Top 3 gratitudes, top 3 most important tasks. What's your most important win? What's your most important improvement? What's your next level lesson?
Let me throw something out there because, again, I would like for it to be cheaper than it is, but let me tell you, Amazon takes like all of the money. So we didn't like wake up and say, hey, this is the price. No, it was like, that's the only possible way we can do it sustainably without like this losing a bunch of money. So I'm going to just be very honest about that. I want the price to be cheaper. Amazon doesn't.
Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time.
That's it.
$29 to achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. I think that's a bargain at half the price.
I mean,
at twice the price.
Yeah, it is a bargain. It has half the price. That was my goal. Again, 90 days. So if you think about it, it's like $10 a month. All things considered,
Yeah.
it is affordable. But I don't know. I just feel like you and I like to tell the truth about stuff like that. And
I
there was
appreciate
just-
it, man.
there
I
was just
appreciate the
no-
honesty in this. There was a lot of candor in this episode.
there was no other way to do it without.
Yeah,
it.
for anyone out there listening, Kevin and I are just honest, sincerity. I
You
hope
can't say
sincerity
that, though.
shines through.
Yeah, you can't
I
say
know
that,
you're not
though.
supposed to say that, but
Yeah.
I don't. I just we sincerely want to see you win, and this is the fundamental stuff that actually will make a huge difference. You start tracking your time, you will notice a huge difference.
It's not sexy.
Yeah, not
Right,
sexy.
it's I'm not gonna it's probably not gonna write a book on it on I don't know, the 65-hour work week. Probably not gonna nobody's gonna buy that shit. Right? It's the 4-hour work week. Remember, have you ever seen There's Something About Mary?
Yeah, but it's been a long time.
It should remain that way because it's pretty graphic. It's great, very funny, but I think it was like the 90s. But so for those of you who haven't seen it, Ben Stiller's character is driving down to Florida, I think, and he picks up a hitchhiker. And the guy was talking about how, I think he says, have you seen that DVD, 8-Minute Abs? And he said, yeah, I'm familiar with it. He said, this is my idea. 6-minute abs. Same shit, but in 6 minutes. And he's like, yeah, no, I think that those are the numbers. I was like, yeah, that would be really hard to compete with. I mean, you get the same results in two less minutes. He's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think they probably did that. Like, I think there is a 6-minute abs.
I believe it. Let me tell you, it doesn't work.
No.
Yeah, it's for the other 23 hours and 54 minutes, you have to monitor your diet, and that's how you're going to get abs.
Nice.
Cool. All right. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Stay next level. Next Level Nation.